Good seeing you, friend. I'll take your order anytime.
Prince Elaine. And Hodrick, too.
Have you found peace, Renaud?
Unable to bear the weight of my sins, I've traveled these lands in search of some minor shred of atonement. But it was all an egoistic crusade in the end. There is no unmaking the suffering these people have endured under Zenoiran rule. Not even claiming the vile heads of their oppressors can bring the masses the solace they deserve. They, and the very land itself, grow weary from a decade of war. Famine, plague, and the greed of men now prevail. And I, inadequate as I am alone, could never hope to end their gruesome reign. Before such cruel reality, I am utterly powerless.
If I may, Sir Renaud, no action can hope to quell the flames of regret. They burn on, ever darkening our minds and consuming our pasts. Yet, their blaze is not the end of all things. You would see that, should you only turn your gaze forward. Forward to hope, and to the future of all those we hold dear. For there can be no greater treasure than that. You said such words yourself, sir. That conviction was ever the paradigm I aspired to achieve.
You've grown stronger than you realize, Clive. It's just as you say. No action I take can undo the sins I've wrought upon this continent. Yet with the rage that burns deep within me, perhaps I can lay to rest the man I once was, and begin this life anew. Prince Elaine, I, Renaud, shall serve as your spear until the day comes that we've shattered Zenoira's foul tyranny over this land. As long as I live and breathe, I am yours to command.
Fate is a cruel mistress indeed. Is it such a crime to simply walk the streets? How was I meant to know we were to stay in our homes? I need you now more than ever, Hilda.
You there?
Who are you?
Nobody more than a simple sellsword. Now, come. My patron demands your presence.
Me? But... Sir? Would you care to tell me where we're going?
We should be clear of them by now.
You mean... I'm saved? But why?
Let's merely say I have dues to settle with Zenoira. There's no time for that now, though. Run. As fast and far as you can.
Wait,
You're late. Where in the seven hells have you been?
That's a difficult question for me to answer. But I can tell you one thing. I strode headfirst into the den of despair. And there I found a single flower. A beautiful bloom like none you've ever seen.
What madness are you spouting now? No matter. I haven't the time for it. A skirmish has broken out in the nearby plains, and we're off to fortify the defenses. Stay here and Stand watch.
I won't let you down. A skirmish with whom, I wonder?
Please be safe, Hilda.
Is she a friend of yours?
My sister, actually. A fearless warrior who tears through the skies atop the most graceful wyvern you've ever seen. But despite all that, I can't help but worry about her.
I can understand the feeling.
Oh, where are my manners? I haven't even introduced myself. My name is Prim, a cleric in service of the Palavian Church.
And I, a simple wanderer. You can call me Aramis.
Sir Aramis, then. Allow me to thank you again for retrieving me from that horrible place.
Please, it was nothing worth such embellishment. Just indulging a selfish urge to help those in need.
Selfish? I can't imagine anything less. You and Hilda are quite alike, actually. Both pursuing a noble cause far beyond just yourselves. Oh, and you'll be joining the Liberation too, yes? We can make the trek back to camp together if you'd like.
Apologies, but I think I'll stay here a moment.
Is something wrong? If you need healing from the battle, I'd be more than glad to oblige.
Thank you, but I'm all right. I'll be but a few footsteps behind.
Very well then. I'll be waiting for you.
Do you make a habit of eavesdropping, or am I the lucky exception? Show yourself. And speak, if you've words for me.
Lord Gislaine, sir. Another village has succumbed.
Then you know what must be done. Gather them into the holding pens, the fit and the infirm alike. Both will be of use to us.
Is that wise in this downpour, sir? Some of the inhabitants have grown quite frail.
The march of progress ever demands new feet to walk it. There can be no tests without subjects, and those unwilling to sacrifice will never know the sublime beauty of discovery.
I assure you, I wouldn't complain were a few pitiful souls to perish in transit either.
Sir Baltro.
Come to glean more corpses, have you? Take what you will. We've enough rotting flesh to satisfy even your ravenous want for death. Though, not for long, perhaps. This may be the final slew I'm able to offer.
Then the experiments are proving successful.
That's not for you to know. Now, have you come to collect? Or do you simply wish to interrogate us instead?
Neither. Those who defy Zenoira's rule draw close to your lands. His Majesty would see them tossed like all the rest upon your mountains of carrion.
The rebels? Here? No. I've come too far to let my work fall unfinished.
You've little need to worry. My men are yours to command in the battle ahead.
A welcome gift, and one I'll gladly accept. Tatiana, stay here and ensure the experiments continue as scheduled.
Yes, my lord.
Guards, rally the defenses. We depart anon.
Gislaine has completed the cure, has he? It was only a matter of time, but with all the vital support I've thrown at his back.
Your hubris knows no bounds, wretch. One as revolting as you is unfit to stand in the company of Lord Gislaine. Only by his word have I let your presence go unimpeded. Now go. Gather the dead and be quit of this manor before you drain my patience any further.
I presume you're the ghastly lord responsible for this plague and its death-strewn offensive.
You would accuse me of diffusing such evil through my own lands? Me, who at last stands on the precipice of seeing it eradicated once and for all? A shame. I'd hoped to welcome the occasion myself one day. But I suppose that honor falls to Tatiana now. At long last, my love, I come to join you once more.
Another corpse for the pile, huh?
What?
A fortuitous thing, that. Were his cure made manifest, all my hard work spreading this pestilence would be for naught.
Get back here!
Lord Ghislaine, how could you take him from me?
What have you found?
Horrors taking form, my prince. The jail is rife with corpses of the townsfolk in every which corner.
Likely victims of the plague. Tell our men to stay well clear of its walls.
But of course.
Rumors speak of your lord using his own people for dark experiments into the plague that sweeps this land. What say you?
That you're a band of benighted fools if you believe such tripe.
Come on, Elaine. There's only one way to find out what he was up to. We've got to search the manor.
You won't disturb Lord Gislaine's research. Not while I still draw breath.
Then perhaps you'd be willing to serve as our guide instead. Tell us everything that's transpired here, Tatiana. Please.
This manor is where Lord Gislaine conducted his research.
You know, I was expecting some kind of horrible monster under that mask. Turns out you're just a regular girl.
It was years ago that this horrific illness first emerged, swept through our populace like the fiercest wildfire. Lord Gislaine's wife was among the victims. He was never quite the same after that. So intense was his contempt for the plague, he made it his sole mission in life to find the cure. Even if it meant enlisting the services of a monstrous necromancer.
And thus, Gislaine victimized his own people for his experiments, then proffered their vacant bodies before this necromancer.
You misjudge him. My lord studied every method, every medicine in his quest to rid the world of this plague. Absent a clear answer, he had little choice but to craft hypotheses and pursue them to their natural conclusions. No solution could be discarded without explicit proof of its faults, nor could any be affirmed as truly effective.
Such excuses are lost on the dead.
Their sacrifices were not in vain.
You imply he found a cure?
Not completely. The texts he was given were rife with half-truths and outright lies alike. But the seed is there, and it can grow if you only let me water it. Please, the answer is finally within arm's reach.
A cure would be most welcome indeed, were this disease to befall our army. Though, should it mean allowing such ignominious research to continue unabated? What say you, my prince?
These experiments of yours are no guaranteed success, and I'd hesitate to sanction them even if they were. They end here. The only option that remains now is to somehow contain the disease to these lands alone. The afflicted are not to leave their homes under any circumstances, and arrange for rations and other necessities to be delivered to those under quarantine.
As you command, my prince.
You've crushed the life out of Lord Gislane's ideals, just as you did to the noble man himself. Tell me, what ideals do you fight for? And what ideals will you ultimately die for?
That's for the heavens alone to know. Now, I expect you'd rather not see your lord's research come to nothing. Gather your data. I will find one capable of making sense of its pronouncements, I assure you.
And claim the glory for yourself?
Glory is a hollow pursuit in matters of life and death. I merely wish to put an end to this plague, and I wish to do so by the proper means.
Strange. I would think there'd be a market here. We've got so many mouths to feed these days, keeping our rations stocked has been almost impossible. I hope there's at least someone who'll sell me some food.
A shame. I thought you dreamt of becoming a gallant knight, just like your mother before you.
Enough. You and I both know they'd never take a half-elf.
No one chooses their birth, Ridiel. Your blood may not be pure, but you can't let that stop you from achieving greatness.
What's going on over there?
If you ask me, the only thing knighthood brought my mother was an early death by Zenoiran steel. Now please, never speak of this again.
Sorry to interrupt, but could I ask you something?
You're not from around here.
Well, no. I'm on a sightseeing tour of Fevrith, traveling to new lands with every passing day.
In a full suit of armor. Right.
The world's a dangerous place lately. Anyway, is there a market near here? I'm running low on rations for the road.
Just keep walking. You can't miss it.
Thank you, ma'am.
My son says she's the one selling us out to Zenoira, the Alpana. One day, his friends were grumbling in a tavern. The next, they were tossed in a jail cell for sedition.
Now, you can't go trusting every barb thrown at her just because she was sired by a human.
She clearly wasn't who she said she was, so I took it upon myself to follow her. And sure enough, she had a whole battalion backing her up.
The rebel army, no doubt. The emblem you described matches theirs to the last detail.
Quite a valuable bit of info, if you ask me. More valuable than the crumbs you've offered.
Greedy little half-blood. You've already got your pay. I swear, you'd sell your pride if you thought it'd fetch you a few coins.
Some way to thank me. If that's how he feels, maybe I will. Those rebels would probably pay me plenty for a little intel on their enemy.